This is the Fishing Hole, everything Andy Taylor, every season, every episode. I'm here with my co-host Jacob, and I'm Tyler.
I'm Jacob.
How are you doing?
I'm here.
Today?
Great.
That's wonderful. The whole idea of this podcast is we will be reviewing every single season of Andy Griffith, every single episode, starting with number 1, and of course ending with the last.
Yeah, that's the general order.
Yeah. Last night, we watched the first episode of Andy Griffith. It was interesting.
Very interesting.
It was beautifully written.
Excellent. Like a symphony.
It was. What was the first part of it? Was it? They were in the. We just watched it last night.
They were in the jailhouse.
Yeah, they were in the jailhouse.
They're in the wedding.
Andy. It was Rose. Was that Rose?
Rosie.
Yeah.
Rose or Rosie? Rose.
Rose.
We're clearly experts on the topics.
Yes. We're very qualified for this. No, Rose was getting married to an older gentleman, which she was, she was an older woman herself.
Right.
So, maybe a widow. I don't know. I shouldn't assume that. Maybe she just thought the time was right for her to be married. But Opie, little Ronnie Howard, he was not having it.
No.
He was not having it. What was going on is Andy was, of course, doing the what's in our ritual. What's it called? A service? Not service.
I think we just call them weddings.
He was officiating the wedding, and Opie got to the part where Andy said, would anyone like to say, "Don't do it"?
Speak now if ever hold your peace.
Speak now. And Opie.
Don't do it.
Opie got upset.
He's a little mad.
He was upset because he didn't want Rose to leave him because he loved her.
He did.
He loved her.
Loved her like a mama.
Because he didn't have one.
He didn't have one. Well,
Which,
I mean, obviously he had one at one point.
Had to.
But had to. Had to. It's just natural.
That is how it goes. But this episode does not explain what happened to Andy's wife or why Opie does not have a mother. And I think that's okay. We don't need to know that important information.
It's true.
But Andy got a little upset with him, and finally he rushed through it, and him and Barn, old Barney Fife,
Old Barn,
and Opie they decide the wedding's over, let's throw rice.
Mm-hmm.
That's when little Ronnie Howard, little Opie Taylor, he took the whole box.
He did.
And he was gonna. My favorite part was when Andy said, "No, Ope, the underhand."
Yeah.
He just started saying underhanded.
Underhanded.
Gosh.
Then he underhanded the rice.
He did underhand the rice. What happened in the episode though?
Well, that did happen in the episode.
We're very prepared for this.
We're so good at this.
I think that's when it went to. Was Andy washing his truck?
Yeah, he was washing his car, and Barton came up to him with an urgent message.
Yeah.
From Aunt B, from our
Aunt B.
beloved.
From Aunt B. We've not seen her yet.
We haven't, but we've
heard about her.
We're already in love with her.
The myths and legends.
We've heard so much about her.
Of Miss Aunt Beatrice.
Yes.
Beat Rice. That's what they called her.
Yeah. Yeah. Miss Beat Wrists.
And I think the most important part of that whole scene was Don Knotts as Barney Fife.
Yes.
Because if he would have been playing Don Knotts, it would have been a much different episode.
Right.
But he was Barney Fife. And
well, I personally enjoy how they they sort of even though Andy's a sheriff, I find it very interesting that he was willing to take Opie's ankle monitor off to get him to the courthouse.
Did he have an ankle monitor?
He absolutely did. He was a felon.
This is in the 60s.
Ronnie Howard was a felon.
Did they have ankle monitors in the 60s?
They had something like it. Probably a ball and chain. Probably a ham radio tied to his wrist. Ankle.
I think there was something going on I'd heard that he was very very hostile during the filming of the
Very
pilot episode.
rambunctious
But
child.
no, anyways, so to
Very
get back on
rambunctious
topic,
child.
Barney comes up and gives him the message, and he goes, "Hey Ange, I want to thank you for for giving me this opportunity, and I want the town to know that I've worked hard. You had all these applicants, and you went through them, and you went through who was the best for the job, and who would have been good by your side, and you picked me out of all those people. You picked me." And then he says, "Thank you, cousin Andy."
Oh yeah,
And
it's quite a scandal.
grew up with this show. I grew up with this show,
That's
just like Minnie. And I never knew that Andy and Barney started off as cousins.
right. I mean, yeah, I didn't either.
So after all this happens, it fades to black, and it shows little Opie Taylor. He's in the kitchen, and he's making breakfast for Pa. And what was it? He made eggs, and he made toast. He made grapefruit. He dropped the grapefruit.
He did drop the grapefruit.
He takes the brush. He kind of just brushes it off, and at
just-
first we couldn't tell what it was. And he
Yeah.
puts it back on the table, and he's realizes, oh hey, that's a grapefruit.
Yep.
And he walks back to the sink and he starts brushing his hair with it.
Yeah, with the same brush he brushed the grapefruit with.
I heard that grapefruit juice is really good for your follicles.
My follicles.
So I think that he was actually ahead of his time. There's actually a lot of people believe that Opie Taylor actually grew up to be Dr. Oz, but that's for a different show. It's for a different show, different time.
It's also just absolutely not true.
So we can talk about Opie having an ankle,
Because
Ankle
he did.
monitor?
I can prove that.
but he couldn't have. No, he grew up to be Dr. Oz. He has the Dr. Oz show today.
No,
Rick Ross went on it.
What you don't understand is that felons cannot be Dr. Oz. It's
I'll have to look into
in the it's in the Constitution.
I'll look into it. But so, Opie's doing all this to show Andy, hey, we don't need Aunt B. And Andy comes in and he goes, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, you like eggs?" And he said, "I better put a little bit more water in there." And turns out the boy had been making boiled eggs for 45 minutes
45
since
minutes.
he woke up. Which are you a connoisseur of boiled eggs?
I dabble.
How long do you normally boil an egg?
Yeah, like 7 or 8 minutes.
I think 6 to 7 minutes, and then you put them in an ice bath.
Put them in a nice bath. Yeah.
You put them right in an ice
So
bath.
that's if you like a bit of a softer boiled
I
egg.
prefer a soft boil.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because the harder it gets, it's just too dry.
Absolutely.
I've never personally made deviled eggs.
No, I'm not big on deviled eggs.
I like deviled eggs with put relish in there, and
Yeah, for me, it doesn't need to be that extra. I
You
just
put-
enjoy a good egg.
do you put cayenne or chili powder in to get or paprika? I'm sorry, paprika.
Right.
You put paprika and everything. Would you want a softer or a harder boiled egg for that?
Well, I think that definitely softer.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
mixes better.
Mixes better, yes. But I don't think Opie put any of those things in his eggs.
No, So, but what got me heated was Andy. He strained the eggs, didn't put them in an ice bath. Those things have been boiling for 45 minutes. They're already done for.
Oh yeah.
He grabs them with his bare hands.
With his bare hands. With his bare hands.
With his bare hands, he just puts them on a plate. You can't do that.
Not a glove in sight.
You have to let them rest in the ice. I don't know the proper way of doing it, but I know you gotta let them rest for a little bit.
Which I think,
He just grabs them with his hands and puts them on a plate.
I think that this was more so a move of dominance because, while Andy and Opie have had great chemistry throughout the episode, I think that
it is
Andy's
still-
definitely reminding Opie that he will absolutely ship him back to Alcatraz.
Okay, we gotta get back to that. You can make these wild claims about Opie, but when I say, "Oh, he was Dr. Oz," he grew up to be Dr. Oz, that's where we draw the line.
I'm not drawing a line. I'm simply trying to educate you on what can and can't be Dr. Oz. It is in the United States Constitution that felons cannot be Dr. Oz.
I'll say this: if this is how this whole podcast is gonna go, we're only doing this one episode.
I mean, I thought we were only doing the one episode anyway.
So, after Opie, makes the boiled eggs, boils the far out of them, he goes up to Andy and he goes, listen, look, Pa, we don't need Aunt B. I can cook breakfast every day for us. We can take care of ourselves. We're men. And Andy, he finds this funny. This little boy, he's being cute. 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, something like that. And that's when Opie just really gets him down. Aunt B raised Andy as a boy. I don't know his situation with his mother or father, or if he had one or not, or if he was a miracle child or what. Mm-hmm. But Opie says, "I'll never love Aunt B because he loves Rose." And that upset Andy. Made him sad.
It did. It upset Andy for good reason. I mean, Aunt B has been a huge part of Andy's life for a long time, and Opie just won't accept her.
Well, he's never met her. I don't think. Has he met her? I don't think
he's met her.
Gosh, that's sad. How old? Opie's at least 8 years old. At least 8 years
Somewhere
old.
in that region.
Andy has had Opie. Well, maybe when Opie was a baby.
Possibly.
But still, that long. A woman who raised you, and you have nothing to do with her for that long? Andy Griffith, you need to get your priorities straight, son.
Yeah, which does it ever mention where Aunt B is coming back in from? Like, where was she holed up?
Did Barney mention that whenever he went to talk to Andy? Because the whole point of Barney showing up earlier was to tell Andy that Aunt B had called.
Deliver the message from Aunt B. I don't think so. I don't think he mentions it. Huh. So I don't know. We can't really judge that because we don't know the distance. And back in that time, cross country travel and stuff like that wasn't exactly.
Horse and buggy.
It wasn't accessible.
Horse and buggy.
I think they were a little past horse and buggy.
The Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail? Are you referring to the second episode in which Opie?
So Aunt B, she shows up right during breakfast, and Andy goes to the door and he goes, "Aunt B, golly, you're a beautiful gal. Tom has done you well."
Just absolutely flirts up his aunt.
Yeah, different Tom.
Yeah,
it's a different Tom.
North Carolina.
Beautiful. North Carolina's beautiful. It's not saying anything bad about North Carolina.
No, absolutely not.
Just
the people. Tom. The people are just
amazing. They're amazing people.
That flirt with their aunts.
This is a one-time situation, but no, she's not his top. Andy had what, 4 girlfriends on the show
at the same time.
No, different Toms. They all was it because Andy said he couldn't. He couldn't do the whole flirting thing and the courting. He couldn't do all that. He was just
he was a bad boy. He couldn't stand up.
He was a good guy.
He couldn't invest that much emotion in people.
So Aunt B shows up and she says, "Oh, Opie." That's my Aunt B voice.
It's very good.
Thank you. She goes, "Opie, you've gotten so big and tall." And he goes, "Say hi to her, and that you love her, and she's your best friend now." Because that's what you expect of a child. Mm-hmm. And Opie goes, "Oh no, I'd like to go take a bath."
Yeah, he would.
And that was just him trying to get away from Aunt B, which is very sad because Aunt B showed up and she just wanted to. She was showing up to take care of everyone. Mm-hmm. But that's when Andy goes. He goes, "It's hard to get you to take a bath any other time."
Yeah.
Opie was just doing it to get away, but. He goes and takes a bath, and Aunt B, she can see that there's something going on. But here's what we don't like. It just skips to dinner time.
Yeah.
It just skips to dinner time, and Aunt B made fried chicken, homemade fried chicken, and what else? I'd say she probably made mashed potatoes.
Yeah, definitely saw some tater on there.
You think she made gravy?
No, I didn't see any gravy.
No gravy. I don't care for gravy on my mashed potato. I like gravy. But I'm also a white gravy kind of person.
Are you?
I prefer white, like a peppered gravy that you'd put on like a country fried steak.
Yeah, my gravies are completely situational. I have equal love for both gravies, but they can only be done in certain situations. I mean,
like, that's definitely a breakfast gravy.
Yeah, white gravy is...
Unless you get like Dairy Queen, you get a chicken strip basket. They give you the fries and the gravy.
Absolutely.
And it's white gravy, but you dip your fries in it, dip your chicken in it. I don't even ask for a sauce whenever I go.
I don't know either.
I just that gravy.
That gravy.
And it surprised me that fast food gravy can be so good.
It did me too. It's
In
not sponsored, by the way.
wait, could be
One day.
in Greenville. Greenland. Is that a country?
Yeah.
Greenland.
Greenland
Is it
and
Greenland
Iceland.
or Greenland?
I think Greenland is probably an amusement park.
Well, it's actually Dairy Queens are considered a delicacy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The whole restaurant?
Yeah.
Tables and all.
Yeah. Well, no. So at the dinner, Aunt B's, she's saying, Opie, you want some more of the chicken, but not gravy? And, does Opie says that she can't make gravy right. No, she can't make chicken right. Does he say that?
It's a general statement. He just says...
it's not as good as Rose.
You don't make it like Rose does.
Yeah. And, is that when Aunt B excuses herself?
She goes to get coffee.
Yeah, she says, I'll go get us some coffee, Andy. And Andy, once Aunt B gets up, he says, I'll join you. And he looks at Oak and he says, if you're not going to, finish dinner, why don't you just going up to your room? Which, that punishment would not work today.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No. I didn't work on Opie either. He's used to, solitude, prison.
Yeah. No. He was not, he's not a felon.
He's not.
We're gonna have to look into that. So he goes up to his room. But I think what was funny is he took his whole plate of chicken. And he took
the entire
he took a couple
plate of
extra
chicken.
episodes. Or he took a couple pieces in the episode. He took a couple pieces of chicken with him on his plate.
Yep.
And he went upstairs and I think, is that the first time we see his bird?
It is. It's the first time his bird is introduced.
What was his bird's name?
Bird?
No.
Can't
Gosh,
be.
we're gonna have to look that up. We'll leave a
Dickie?
Dickie was Dickie.
Dilly? Dickie? Dibby?
We'll get a soundbite and
P. Diddy?
we'll put it. No, I don't think it's. We'll put the soundbite right here of what Opie's saying his bird's name. It'll be right here. Okay, so that was. We'll do it. We'll do it in post. So yeah, he's up there, and he eats his fried chicken too, doesn't he? Yeah, he finishes it down to the bones.
Oh yeah.
And Andy comes up and he's talking to him. He's going, "Well, Opie, I think it's mighty strange. A few pieces of chicken went missing."
6 or 7 at least.
Yeah, I don't think it was that many, but it was.
No, that's what we said.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. I don't know if I believe
I
that.
swear.
We're not swearing on this show.
I mean, not like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't say a bad word.
Well, I'd rather you not.
No, I'm not going to.
Well, don't.
Okay.
So Andy goes up to the room and he's talking to old Ope.
Oh, Ope.
And he's going,
Ope Taylor.
Is that when he talks about running away?
No, that's not till
No,
later.
Later on.
Yeah. This is he asks if he asked where all that stuff went, and Opie said that he fed it to his bird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and what was it? He says, "Are you sure you got a bird in there, or do you got a
Buzzard.
a buzzard?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty good. That's
Yeah.
this show's absolutely it's older.
It is.
From the '60s,
Yeah.
and it's more simple comedy. It's
It
clean,
is.
but that was funny.
It was yeah.
Like when we were watching it, of course, I love Andy Griffith because just remembering growing up and watching it. But you can watch it now and still like hee-haw laugh.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like it's just such a
Even during its time, Andy Griffith had a completely different brand of comedy than most of the shows around that time. It was all simple, one-liners, very soft form of comedy.
I'm making this statement. Leave It to Beaver was an awful show, and Andy Griffith was
I never even watched Leave It to Beaver. Had no desire to.
it. Oh, it gets my blood boiling thinking about it. I heard there's a lot of mafia connections with that show.
In a time like that?
Yeah.
That's not what the American people needed at that
No,
time.
no, they need Andy Griffith
They needed
as Andy Taylor,
wholesome family content.
and Ronnie Howard as Opie, and Don Knotts as Barney Fife,
Yeah. And the other
and
guy.
George Lindsay as Goober,
Yeah.
and Jim Neighbors as Gomer.
Yeah. You're getting it. Keep going.
I don't know who's the act. Oh, I feel awful that I don't know the actor's name that played Floyd.
Why?
Because I wanted to mention his name. I wanted to give him a shout out.
It's not like he had polio or something.
I don't think we can say that. That's mean.
But it's true. He did not have polio.
It's getting off topic. So Andy goes, "Hey, you want some watermelon for dinner?"
Yeah.
For dinner.
Yeah.
So Opie agrees to go get the watermelon.
Yeah. He does. Even though he actually asked if he wanted for dessert, not dinner. But
I didn't say for dinner.
You actually did. You definitely did. You definitely said watermelon for dinner.
We're gonna pause. I'm gonna go back and fact check Jacob. So I just went back and I did say dinner.
He did say dinner.
I apologize. So Andy says, "Hey, Ope, you want some watermelon for dessert after dinner?"
He did say that.
And Opie agrees. He's very happy about that. Doesn't show any more action or interactions with Aunt B that night.
No.
She probably went to bed late.
More than likely.
After her coffee. And so it goes to the next day, shows old Barney Fife, Deputy Barney Fife, and he's arresting old Miss Emma.
Miss Emma.
God
bless her heart.
What jaywalking?
Jaywalking, yes.
What happened? I forgot.
She walked across the street when there was no crosswalk.
That is jaywalking.
That is the definition of jaywalking.
He had her in handcuffs and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Pulled her into the.
Oh, yeah. Just
to the
absolutely
police
brutal.
station.
Hit her with a nightstick.
Whoa.
Chained her legs up. Terrible.
Whoa.
Emma barely survived.
I haven't watched behind the scenes. But then Andy comes in while Barney's trying to book her. He's trying to get her fingerprints. It's very high tech.
Very high tech.
And Andy goes, "Oh, Barn, what are you doing, buddy?" He goes, "Well, I'm arresting her because she was jaywalking."
She was.
And Andy says, how's he say? He says, "Oh, we don't arrest Miss Emma.
We never arrest Miss Emma.
Yeah, if she can save a few steps, she might be with us a little bit longer."
Mm.
Which I think is it's not something you say to an older woman.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Especially, not one with her criminal record.
Not Miss.
I'd be scared.
She doesn't have a criminal record. Yeah, Andy says that we don't arrest her.
No, they don't. That's why she's in Mayberry. What about what she did in Mount Pilot?
She didn't.
Raleigh?
They don't talk about anything like that.
No, they.
Well, you're making these claims about Miss Emma. They're just. It's not right.
So anyway, they say that, they don't arrest her, they let her jaywalk because it's going to make her live longer, completely unproven.
That scene did nothing.
No.
That scene did nothing for the episode.
It really did.
It was nice.
But it did introduce Miss Emma, and she does end up being a bigger character later in the series.
And it shows more of Barney Fife and his antics.
Yeah.
He's not a big role in this episode.
No.
But it helps,
Well, during this episode, they didn't have him on contract. They didn't even know if they was going to keep him on the show.
Oh, really?
Really? Yeah. He came into this episode with no offer of future employment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I knew that he had called Andy and was like, "Hey, you might need a deputy." But I didn't know that was the situation.
It was.
Huh.
But, immediately after his first episode, their chemistry was so good that
oh, yeah.
I signed right up.
I've read and I've watched stuff that they used to, they would spend a whole day just, spitballing ideas at each other, just seeing how they work together. But then it cuts straight back to little Opie.
Little Ope
Taylor. And he's in his room and he's, is he packing his stuff up to leave or what's he doing?
I believe so. Or he's trying to think of how to write a note.
Yeah, and Andy comes in and he says, "What are you doing, Ope?" or something like that. And Opie goes, "Pa, can I run away?" I think this is probably one of the funniest things about the show. I think it also shows, this is what the show's going to be. Because Andy goes, "Well, Ope, normally when little boys run away, they don't ask."
Right.
That's the whole thing. You don't ask. Which, when we were first watching that, I was going, "Oh, this is awful advice, Andy. What if he just doesn't ask next time and he does run away?"
Yeah, completely terrifying.
But Andy goes, "The first thing you gotta do is you write a note." Mm-hmm. And that was the big problem because Opie did not know how to write.
He did not.
So Andy says, "Well, I'll write it for you." So he sits down. He goes, "How to start this? Dear Pa," which I love that he calls him Pa. one day if I'm ever a father, I want to be called Pa, and I'll model myself after Andy Griffith. And I don't know about that. We'll see if that day ever comes. Anyways, so he starts writing the letter. Dear Pa, I'm running away, and I'll never see you again.
Oh yeah.
And that's when Opie loses it.
He does. He flies into a flurry. You really see his prison days come out.
He doesn't have prison days.
You see the hatred and fury in his eyes.
He's an 8-year-old boy.
It's artistic in a way because it shows that he truly cares about his father, even though his father was the one that put him away. It's incredible. But it also shows how equipped Andy is to deal with this level of criminal, because he plays against Opie's emotional weaknesses. He manipulates him into not wanting to, further tarnish his reputation.
I agree about that. No, Andy definitely does, use, as Dr. Oz would put it, reverse psychology.
Absolutely.
It's where he used psychology opposite of what Opie was wanting to do,
Yeah.
by saying, "Oh yeah, we'll do this. We'll help you. We'll get you a little bandana tied to a stick, and we'll have it over your shoulder in a heartbeat."
Yeah.
But and Opie goes, "Yeah, I don't want to leave you, Pa. I love you too much, Pa. You're my best friend, Pa."
It was heartbreaking, really.
It was very sad.
Very
And
sad.
it's a true reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when Opie goes, "Well, old Aunt B, she doesn't know how to go fishing or play baseball or frogging." Is that what he said? She doesn't know how to go frogging?
Yeah, she can't hunt frogs.
Can't hunt frogs.
She can't.
And, I'll say this. Rose, the older housekeeper, she was an elderly woman.
She was.
I would say not far from Aunt B's age, if not the same age.
No.
So I mean, if she can get around and do stuff like that, I don't know why Aunt B couldn't. It's mentioned earlier in the episode that Aunt B raised many children, not just Andy.
She did.
So I don't get that point, but then it goes on into Andy is taking Aunt B out into the backyard, and he has a baseball bat and a baseball, and I think it's it's beautiful that Andy realized, oh well, maybe we can do this. He's a child, he's going through a hard time. They mention that a few times.
They do.
And let's teach Aunt B how to play the old American pastime, baseball or stickball, whatever you want to call it. And Aunt B looks like the kind of woman who would cork a baseball bat. I don't want to get into it, but I think she would cork a baseball bat.
It's possible.
So Andy's trying to teach her, and he goes, well, Aunt B, what you do? And he's explaining. She goes, "Andy, don't act like I don't know baseball."
Right.
And he says, Aunt B, I'm sorry.
Very confident in her baseball knowledge.
Exactly, yeah. She's the next Al Roker.
That's not a baseball player.
And so Andy's, he's walking away. He has the ball. He's going to throw it to Aunt B. Mm-hmm. And, well, doggone it, she has the whole thing upside down. She's holding it wrong way.
The whole bat.
She's
holding the big end of the bat.
He goes, Aunt B, I think you hold it like this.
As do I.
And, she just wasn't getting it.
No,
but,
she wasn't.
So he said, oh, well, maybe this isn't the thing. They didn't show her trying to go frogging.
No.
But they showed her fishing. It showed Opie and Andy and Aunt B, and they were all sitting down by a river, and they were fishing.
They were.
And I love that scene because Opie goes, "Hey, Pa, why is she not holding the hook in the water?"
Classic.
Classic Aunt B. Classic Aunt B.
Yeah.
And one, because she didn't know how to fish, but was it Andy? What was Andy's excuse?
He was fast on his feet with his response.
He was
she's a sportsman. She's used to fishing deep sea. Where things jump up out of the water to get their.
They'd
their
fly
food.
out.
Yeah, they meet the pole halfway.
Yeah, and so Aunt B hears them, so she goes, "Oh, I meant to be," and she drops it down to the water, and immediately hooks a fish
just right off the bat.
And she's we had the subtitles on it. It just said whimpering.
It did. Just over and over.
And be going, oh, 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 oh.
Yeah, just like that.
just constantly that.
Yeah.
While Opie's screaming and Andy's going, "Oh, it's a big one, Aunt B. It's a big one." She gets it was a pretty good sized fish. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a large fish, but
No.
especially for her first catch, I assume that it was.
I mean,
It was a good sized
absolutely,
fish.
yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have been one to feed a family.
No, appeared to be some sort of smallmouth bass.
A smallmouth bass.
Smallmouth.
Yeah.
Bass. Little mouth.
Tiny mouth.
Very tiny mouth. Not
But
a tiny fish.
it was it was a decent sized fish.
It was.
It was good for her to catch that first time.
First time.
And so, Opie's freaking out and Andy's, he's shaking his head because he realizes, oh gosh, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Right.
So
Real quick, I just want to interject and say how impressed I am that was her first time ever fishing and everything, and she knew how to cast and operate an open face pole in that episode.
what do you think that maybe Andy casted it for her? And then
I don't
handed it
think
to
he
her?
would have, because that would have given her away. Because they're trying to build up to be this big sportsman.
Yeah.
There's no way he could have casted that pole without Opie catching on.
Opie would have saw it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm impressed that she was able to figure out the operation of an open face pole without ever fishing.
I've never used one.
Well,
Do you make them or do you buy them like that?
you probably buy 'em. I don't think any of them people knew how to make a fishing reel. I could be wrong.
Aunt B may have. She was a sportsman after all.
She was a sportsman after all. Maybe Barn made one. I mean, he does know how to fix up and knit. He knows how to knit.
Does he?
That's a later episode.
What episode was that?
That was when the girls came in from Mount Pilot. Those two
Did he
like
knit for
nasally
'em?
girls. No, there was some like blankets for the jail cells that he was patching up because Otis liked to chew them. This is a later episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we need to wait.
Okay. But so it cuts to black. Andy's carrying little Opie Taylor. He's carrying him into his room. They had a long day. Aunt B's behind him, and he puts him down on the floor. He says, "Opie, it's time to get in bed. Get ready, buddy." And he goes over to the bird cage, and he opens it up, and he goes, "Pa, Dickie's gone."
You're kidding.
And Pa goes, "Oh, Opie left the cage door open."
Oh no.
And Opie turns around. He grabs onto Pa and he throws himself into him so Pa can embrace him. He goes, I didn't do that, Pa. I never forget." And that's when the culprit is found out of, and it was Aunt B. And she said, "Oh, Opie, I was cleaning it for you earlier."
Of course, we didn't see any of this in subtitles. It just said whimpering again.
Yeah, whimpering. And Aunt B goes, "Oh, Opie, I must have left the cage door open while I was cleaning it for you." And you can tell that Aunt B just feels awful because she's been trying and failing to get this little boy's affection, and this is this is the needle that broke the straw.
She's fighting for her life. I mean, that kid's been proven up to 600 meters. I'd be afraid to get on his bad side too.
He's what?
He's lethal up to 600 meters.
What's that even mean?
It means with a firearm.
Oh, it's his striking range.
Yeah, something like that. He can.
This is an 8-year-old boy.
It is, with an incredible record. An incredible record. If he didn't use it for evil, it's insane how much good he could have done with his abilities.
So this is when Opie goes, "It's all her fault, Pa," and he gets so mad, and Aunt B goes, she just goes to her room because how heartbreaking would it be to be, such a caregiver for your whole life, and the whole reason that you came back to your nephew's house was to help take care of this orphaned child. It's heartbreaking.
Not orphaned. He
Oh.
has a dad.
What do they call when you lose your mother? Because I know if you're a man, you use your wife.
Motherless.
You're a widower or a widow.
Motherless.
Half orphaned. I don't want to get into this. This sounds very awful. I'm just trying to figure out what Opie would have been called.
Opie.
So Opie Taylor doesn't have his mom. Aunt B's coming back to help him, and it's just real sad. And it fades out to black. It's the next morning, and Aunt B's leaving. She's out at Andy's truck and she's putting her bags in the the back, and little Opie Taylor, he's looking out the window at her leaving, and Andy's just explaining, he's sorry, and she's sorry too. She understands Opie's going through a hard time. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just really sad, and that's when you see little Opie Taylor. He runs out the front door, and
frantically searching for a victim.
No, he's searching for Aunt B, and he goes, "Oh, don't leave, Aunt B," and Andy's he's confused, and
doing
Aunt B's
his best to hold Opie off her. Just
no,
really struggling.
So he's trying to talk to Opie. He's saying, "What's going on?" And Opie goes, "I don't want her to leave, Pa. She doesn't know how to fish or play baseball.
She can't get away, Pa.
She won't know what to do. She's helpless. She's helpless." And
can't let her go on her own.
Yeah, and so I think that was him saying, "Oh," where did the change of heart come from? It didn't. It showed him going to he wasn't asleep. He was up all night thinking, but it didn't show us any inner what do you call it? Thoughts?
Restitution. Inner
restitution. What's that mean?
That's wrong. That's what you pay people when you do something bad to them.
Oh,
which we all know Opie owed a lot of in his time.
No, he was an 8-year-old boy.
He was an incredibly.
The most he probably ever did was break old man Williams' window playing stickball outdoors.
Yeah, with a 30-06. Williams barely got away.
That's not true.
It is.
That's not canon. That's not true.
We'll research it.
We'll have to look that up. But Andy goes, "Okay, she'll stay." And that's pretty much the end of the episode.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much the end of the episode, except something we did not expect, because that was the end of the episode. We're getting ready to close off of the old computer file, and next thing you know, there's an end credit scene.
There is. They rip the MCU right off.
I don't know. Close. Maybe the MCU ripped Andy Taylor off.
It's possible.
I've heard stories that that Iron Man was based off of Otis Campbell.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
That might not be true at all, but that's what I've heard.
See, I heard that Thanos was based off of young Ronnie Howard because of Opie's
I'd heard something similar.
Severe record of
No.
homicide and
homeless light. Is that what you said?
Absolutely not.
What'd you say?
I definitely said homicide.
Homicide. Homicide?
What does that mean, Tyler?
No, that's what you're saying.
Homicide.
Homicide.
How do you say it?
Homicide.
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 Is this a bit?
No.
Is that how you say it?
That's how I say it.
Homicide.
Homicide. Homicide.
I've never heard it said like that before. I'm not knocking you.
I think you're knocking me.
I'm not. I'm really not. I'm interested by that.
It kind of hurts my feelings.
Do you think that's from your southern twang?
No, I don't have a southern twang.
I think you kind of do.
I think you're...
There's an end credit scene where Opie comes up. Andy's playing the guitar.
The git fiddle.
The git fiddle.
Yep.
And Aunt B's sitting on the porch drawing up a blueprint. She was an architect.
She was.
And Opie says, "Pa, you'll never guess what I found."
And you guys won't either.
It was Dickie. He found the bird.
It was Dickie.
Where the bird went, I'm not sure. The window was open during the night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the bird left and came back.
I mean,
it could have. I don't know.
I'd say it did. Andy brought up a very good point. The bird was used to being fed all this stuff, and when it escaped...
Oh, yeah, he says that at the end. He says that.
He saw other birds, just how bad their conditions were.
Yeah, they come here, they're eating fried chicken and honey and biscuits.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love biscuits and honey. I tried to wake you up earlier today.
Yeah, I was knocked out.
I think my words were, "Hey, buddy, let's go get a biscuit."
Yeah, my words were just unconsciousness.
You didn't answer when you woke up. You said, "I think it's a little too late for a biscuit."
Yeah. I was not feeling getting out of bed this morning.
Dairy Queen has good biscuits.
I've never.
They have good biscuits. I used to. I think it was like every Thursday I'd go with my grandfather, and we'd he'd always order a belt, which is a bacon, egg, and lettuce tomato.
Bacon, egg, lettuce, tomato.
Yeah, like a BLT, but with a E, an egg.
I could do without tomato. I could do a bell.
A bell.
Or a bleh.
Bleh.
Lib.
Bleh. Where's the H?
There isn't one, but how do you
Bleh.
pronounce
Bacon,
it with an H?
Bacon lettuce.
Blee?
Bacon lettuce egg.
Bleh.
Bleh. Blee.
Bleh.
So yeah, and Andy keeps playing his guitar, and that's pretty much the end of the episode. That is the end of the episode, not pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
the end of the
the
episode.
whole thing. So, but no, so something a fact that I'd like to share, an Andy factoid.
Right.
We'll get a soundbite for that. Is when Barney comes up to him and he goes, "Hey, Ange, cousin Ange."
Cousin Ange.
But, the whole reason they did that was they were wanting to. I think it had mentioned that they were cousins 3 or 4 times in the beginning of the series, because they wanted to show that in a small town, it really depends who you are. Yeah. He may have been qualified for the job, but it was because they were cousins that they got. But they did away with that later on. I'm pretty sure, and just said that they were old friends from high school.
They were.
Which I think is very good. You have anything to add about the episode or how it ended, or?
No, I think it's very interesting. How that they were able to use just so much manipulation to contain Opie at being as dangerous as he is. I find it incredible that he didn't see the blueprint that Aunt Bee was drawing on the porch. She was frantically trying to find a way to control this child.
You're making a lot of accusations toward Opie, towards Ron Howard.
They're not accusations if they're true.
I'm
not saying that Ron Howard was a felon. He wasn't. Opie Taylor was.
Okay, you're making accusations about an 8-year-old.
A very dangerous 8-year-old.
He did nothing in this.
I'm just trying to raise awareness.
Of what?
I care about the people of Mayberry. Don't you? Do you not care?
Yes, I care about Mayberry, and I care about Opie and the Andy Griffith Show. But Opie Taylor was not this monster you're trying to make him out to be.
We'll research it.
We'll have to look into this. So, with that being said, are all hearts and minds clear? Thoughts? I guess that's going to be the first episode of the Fishin' Hole.
Just really appreciate you guys for joining us.
It's been a ride. And it's been good. And it's been real. And I'll tell you, it has been real good. Thank you, Jacob, for doing this with me.
Thank you for having me on, Tyler.
All right, well, it's your show, too. So.
It's absolutely not.
All right. Thank you guys very much.